comic books, movies, TV, and more. Nerds are everywhere. It's time to assemble! It's Nerds United.
Hello and welcome to a brand new Nerds United on YouTube. A very special episode with a very special boy. Yeah, I am your host, Greg Mahochko. Joining me as always, and for the first time in person in over a year, the co-host of the year, Mike Luther.
You know what I should have done is I should have been out of screen and then it came on.
Nah.
You know what I wanted to do when we were talking about me coming back for episode 250 is I wanted to set it up to where like I still had my laptop and everything. And then you like said something like, oh, I wish you were here. I'm like, well, hold on 1 second. I would just be like over here or something and then walk over. It was way too complicated.
With the magic of video editing, we could have done a part where like you record another time and
at my house
and be like, Mike, just come over here, and then have some sound effects, car in motion type stuff, and then you hear. But now that we've given it away, it's not gonna happen, folks. We'll save
that for 300.
I'll be dead.
I mean, not at the rate we're going.
Just true.
Yeah.
So it's great that you're here, Mike, to look you in the eyes and not at the screen, but in the eyes.
That is weird because normally, like, if in order for me to make it look like I'm looking at you, I have to not look at you via Zoom.
Right. Yeah. So oddly enough, we're still recording this on Zoom just for the benefit of the recording. And so it's been a long time since I've sat at the kitchen table to record Nerds United video. So in that time, people will be able to tell that we've done a little work on the house.
Okay.
And it was this color. It will all eventually be this color.
That is true.
But that got painted in like April. And this part's not been painted yet, but that's okay.
And if you look at the first video we did versus this one, you'll see how much fatter I've gotten and how much grayer my beard is.
I got to tell you this story. This is for you and your enjoyment, but this is really for the enjoyment of everybody watching at home. I had an appointment for work yesterday, and it very, open it up with some small talk. Hey, how you doing? How's everything going? And so, I mentioned, I've got the babies at the house, and these folks who are in their 60s said, oh, grandbabies? I said, no, just mine. Just my own.
Right.
And throughout the course of the conversation, it was, I was met with them for about 45 minutes or so. I had a nice visit, I outside of being personally offended. Right. I said, no, I've got, the relatively newborn twins who are 8 months old. I've got the kindergartner. And I said, oh my gosh. And I brought it back up that they said that I was a grandparent at the end as I was walking out, and they were a little embarrassed, to say the least. But I said, it's okay. I get it. I've got more gray hair than the two of you combined. It's true, everybody. Silver fox.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. Not only are you here, but we are debuting new equipment.
Oh, yeah.
This guy here is a new microphone. I've got one. Mike will take one home with him, and we're going to start having some higher quality audio podcasts and, when necessary, video as well.
Not higher quality content, just higher quality audio.
Last week's audio, I found, towards about 20 minutes left in the show, I found the problem with why I kept cutting in and out. And this is way inside baseball, and I apologize to everybody, but essentially my headset was not plugged in correctly, and I didn't realize there was a screwy knob on there that I could use to tighten it, hold it in place. So I went, did a little level up And so hopefully the good folks watching and listening will appreciate that.
And they'll subscribe and tell everybody, all their friends to subscribe.
All the friends.
Yeah.
If we get 100 subscribers by Turkey Before Turkey,
Okay.
we'll have to finish the bottle.
Okay. Deal. I mean, I know that's not going to happen, but
I know.
but how awesome would it be?
And by we,
Yes.
I mean Michael pretty much finished the
If
bottle and passed it on my
somehow
couch.
there's like a glitch and we just get 100 subscribers.
I don't want to die. We all know I don't do liquor for a multitude of reasons. But Mike, it's just good that you're back in the house, and it sucks that it's a farther drive for you.
Yes.
But thanks for making the drive, because it's been crappy weather this week.
We said it's going to be episode 250 unless we counted wrong, and said I got to do something special for episode 250.
I don't know about counting wrong, counting creatively.
Okay.
Years ago, 2014, I did my first trek down to Cape Comic-Con.
Correct.
And it was a two-part episode. It was episode 15, part 1, and part 2 that I still counted as 15.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's fine.
Yeah, that should have been 15 and 16.
That's okay. I figure we were down at Cape one weekend, might as well make one podcast out of it.
No, see, when you go down to that, that's like, okay, we can do 3 or 4 podcasts out of this now.
Well, I mean, from the
Episode
event.
wise. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I had a lot of interviews.
Yeah.
But they were all short, so I just kind of crammed them in together.
Okay,
So,
I see.
Yeah. So but that was because of COVID and everything else, they've had to restructure a little bit of the Cape Comic-Con schedule. So they actually had one back in September, postponed from normal springtime.
Right.
And obviously with everything going on at the house and at the family, there's no way I'm going down there. So in fact, we were joking. I said, with the new microphone, I've got a lot of recording equipment that I bought specifically for like going down, having a Jittery Monkey podcast table and doing like live recordings or just group recordings down at Cape. And I haven't been there in a few years. So
it's probably since the last time I've been there.
Yeah. And that was the only time you've been there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And our plan originally was because
Kevin was there and Chad Smart was there.
And we were going to do a couple podcasts, but then we forgot there was no
plug-in.
Yeah.
So the plan was going forward, we were going to have a table by the wall with an outlet or something like that. So we just set up, do live recordings and things like that, catch people coming in, like, con goers and whatnot. And I take a lot of blame for a lot of things, but coordinating that was solely on the shoulders of Kevin Hunsberger.
That's true.
And he dropped the ball. So
that's all his fault.
And Kevin, I actually spoke with him this week when I was down south, the day that I got insulted about my gray hair.
Okay.
I called him up and talked to him for a little bit. And because he lives down in the deep south of Southern Illinois, and just caught up with him for a few minutes. We decided that we just need to do that more often. Yeah. So I've been guilty about it, certainly with, a lot of my friends. Mike, you're an exception because we talk every week for a number of reasons, but friendship and that kind of stuff, communication is a two-way street. So, if you feel like, a friend of yours is not reached out in a while, then maybe extend the olive branch or at least extend a text message or something like that. So
just start a podcast with them.
Just start a podcast with them. Oh, Mike,
easiest thing.
How long were we talking nerdy before I brought you on the show?
What's funny is I look back at an old Facebook post, and it's not very often, but it's every so often, like you'll comment something and we'll go back and forth. I know I messaged you a couple of times about podcast stuff. But we definitely a lot more obviously now.
Yeah.
Than before. We actually, I was thinking about this. Really, it started with MySpace. That's how long ago it was.
That's true. And I was one of the OG MySpacers. At the time, I maybe you were able to like customize your URL, but I'm pretty sure it was just myspace.com and a number. And I always interpreted that number of like, if you were the 400,000 person on
Okay.
MySpace. That's the number that they gave you, right? And mine was in the low to mid 5 digits.
Okay.
So I think that there's a chance. Now, I never did the research. I never, called up Tom.
Yeah.
But there's a chance I might have been one of the first 50,000 people on MySpace.
I mean, possibly. I can't say you weren't.
Okay, while we're talking about outdated social media, can we talk about upcoming social media?
Sure.
Meta.
Oh my God. I don't even know what I started watching like the little video, and it seemed. I mean, hopefully this doesn't get kicked off somewhere. But he's like the most robotic person I've ever seen.
Right.
Like
I'm pretty sure he is a robot.
He's an alien or a robot who's trying really hard to be human.
Perfect example. Do you remember iRobot?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the robot with feelings? Yeah. Sunny.
Yeah.
Very robotic tone and mannerisms, but trying to be a little bit more. And that's what Mark Zuckerberg is. He's trying to be a little more. He's like Pinocchio.
Yeah. Pretty much the exact opposite of how they portray him on the social network.
Never seen it.
Oh, I don't even know if it's necessarily a good movie. Watch like a clip of it because it's Michael Cera, not Michael Cera, it's Michael Cera's twin, whoever that is, I forget.
Jesse, yeah. Michael Cera's twin.
Don't they look alike?
No.
Yes, they do.
One of them burned down the banana stand.
Well, oh yes, that is true.
And there's always money in the banana stand.
That's true.
That's what we found out.
Yes. But watch a clip of it, of how he portrays Mark Zuckerberg, and then watch actual Mark Zuckerberg bot. Completely different.
So I don't know much about this Meta thing, except that it's supposed to like be that community over the internet. Like it looks a lot like you can customize your avatar and things like that.
Okay.
And then go into a virtual like chat room or sitting room. I'm like, I feel like the best interactions are still in-person interactions. That's why I'm so glad you're here, Mike. I'm glad that Mark Zuckerberg allows it.
But what if I was virtually here? What if there was like a device, right, where you could look at it and you could see me, but I wasn't here? Can you imagine that?
I can't imagine that Mark Zuckerberg's like going for a bigger stake in future communication, like whatever. He's got enough money. I guess he can do whatever he wants with it. Jeff Bezos has plenty of money. I don't know.
You know what's better than $1 billion?
$2 billion.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
I'm gonna get this so wrong, but it's like 1 million seconds is like here to Tuesday, but 1 billion seconds is here to like 1,000 years from now or something like that. Or
you're close. 1 million seconds is like 11 days, somewhere around there. 1 billion seconds is 31 years.
I was close. I mean, I was a little bit wrong.
Yeah, you had the right idea. You had the right idea for sure.
So, and $1 million will get you 11 days worth of food, and $1 billion will get you 31 years of food. Write that down.
I mean, it depends what you eat. Yeah.
You would have to try really hard to use up $1 million in food in 11 days.
Yeah.
You'd have to, I mean, you would literally have to just be like feeding everybody.
Yeah.
And that's great.
Yeah.
Very humanitarian of you. I don't have it in me.
No. I would try to see how much I could eat.
It's like in that episode of Futurama where it's like they have the what if machine, and Bender's like, what if I was a human? And so he's like, oh wow, food tastes great, cigars are great and beer's great and everything. And then like by the end of the clip, he's like a 500-pound monstrosity who died an hour ago or whatever, and any sound he makes is just like air evaporating from or escaping from the flabs of fat. I love Futurama. Futurama's gotten me through some times, Mike.
Futurama that's definitely one of those like shows you can watch over and over again.
And I do.
Yes.
In perpetuity.
Yes.
Someday I might switch my evening watching from Futurama to King of the Hill, which I also love.
Yeah.
But Futurama's just it's my happy place.
Yeah, I haven't actually seen Futurama in forever, but I watched it so many times. It was starting when Nolan was really little, like when he was a little baby. I remember watching the small. I remember watching Futurama on it. We got it on like the computer. The computer. I don't know why. You know what a computer is, right? We got it on there, and we're watching tons of episodes there. I have a couple like kind of go to like if I just need something on the background, usually Family Guy. And then I binged, and you saw the end of it recently, Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh yes.
By the way, what did you think of the ending to it?
I'm glad they ended on a heist because I always the heist episodes in Brooklyn Nine-Nine were like the paintball episodes in Community, you know, running gag. They get more elaborate every year, and it was fun. The last season overall, it was touch and go.
Yeah, it was very, very short.
Very short, which is fine.
Yeah.
I felt like at times the writers were apologizing for making a show about cops.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Absolutely.
And at that point, like, just say thank you very much, NBC, but we're just gonna pass on this final season.
Right.
If you want, we can do like a Community was always 6 seasons in a movie,
right.
But this could have been, I guess, 7 seasons or 8 seasons. I can't remember how many seasons they ended up having. But do a quick wrap up thing. Yeah. But I like how everybody, found peace and found their ends. Captain Holt, spoilers, retires. Yeah. And Jake Peralta retires, I guess. I don't know, quits, but he's going to go be a stay-at-home dad. His wife, Santiago, she is chief. Yeah. And Terry's a captain, and Boyle, not Boyd. Boyle's Boyle. And Rosa, and she left the force at the beginning of the season, right, to go be a private investigator. So I thought everybody found peace. That's all you can ask for.
I thought it was one of the better series finales. Obviously, it did have its flaws, but I think it was one of the better ones that I've seen. It's funny because I started binge watching like season 1, episode 1, whatever it was, and I made it all the way through, and then I got to what I didn't realize at the time was actually the second to last episode. And the only reason, because I watched that episode, it was the one where Holtz and his husband renew their vows, right? And then Kevin on Hulu, Kevin on Hulu, instead of going to the next episode, it went to a different series. I'm like, oh, that's the end of it. I'm like, that's kind of, and I knew it was going to be a series finale. I knew the series was over. I'm like, it was a good episode, but I'm like, that's a weird series finale. Yeah. I'm like, okay.
If I'm guessing, the last episode I had maybe not quite aired yet. Right. Yeah.
It was like the next week. But then luckily somebody said something about it. I'm like, oh, there's one more. Oh, perfect. Yes.
Because you can't let Hitchcock be the precinct champion.
Right.
So, Mike, this is a fun video, but we should end it here. Yeah. Because we're about to the 20-minute mark. And that's good. That's a good video. And we're gonna record the podcast, which is hilarious because people get the podcast before they get the video, because that's just how it works in our world. Yep. So stick around for the podcast, jitterymonkey.com, and subscribe for Nerds United on all of your favorite podcast platforms. But gosh, it's just so good to be in the same room, breathing the same air as you, Mike. He's ladies, I tell you, he's like Campbell's soup. Makes you feel good.
If you like that stuff.
You don't like Campbell's soup?
I'm not a big soup fan.
We got to go.
Let's talk about that on the podcast.
Okay. He's the ghost of the year, Mike Luther. I'm just the guy, Greg Mahachko, and this is Nerds United on YouTube. And it doesn't matter if we're miles apart or within touching distance. We remind you this week and every week to be kind
and rewind.